Hey, it's Monday. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. If you are watching live or on the replay, please say hello below. I love to just say hi and connect with you guys. And today I have a topic chosen from a question I recently asked in my group, Transforming Future You. So if you're not in that group yet, just put in Transforming Future You and come along and join. It's all about the transformation of our mindset so that we can be more successful in our business. And I'm just going to share this video over to there now. Again, if you're watching, please do say hello. So just popping that over to the Transforming Future You group. And the title is, Should You Care What Other People Think? And recently in the group, I did a post and I asked the members if you could go back to the teenage version of yourself, go back in time as you are right now and have 5 minutes with teenage you and could tell them one thing, what would you tell them? And so many of the answers revolved around telling the past version of ourselves to not care about what other people think and just do what you want to do and just go for it. And I think that's very telling because so much of what we tell ourselves that holds us back has to do about worrying about the judgment of others. So is it worth it, and should we care what other people think? Because a lot of people will say, I don't care what anyone else thinks, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, or you shouldn't care what anyone says or what anyone thinks, F them, F everyone that, says anything that doesn't support me. I don't care. I'm caring about that. And I think I get that sentiment, but we all care to some degree of what other people think and say about us and the judgments of others. And it's not surprising that every limitation that we put on ourselves comes from some sort of judgment, right? Because on the day that we're born and when we're a little baby or a little child, we genuinely don't care what other people think. We learn to care what other people think, and we learn to care about judgment, and we learn to change our behavior based on what the judgment is going to be from other people and from other social constructs like Santa Claus or a certain god, depending on which one your parents believe in, if any. And all of it is based on this judgment and the consequences of that. So you might get a lump of coal for Christmas, or you might get eternal damnation. But worst of all, you might be judged by the people in your close community. Maybe you'll be an outcast, or you'll be shunned, or people won't talk to you and they'll be judging you, and we are taught that that is a bad thing. So no wonder that we care what other people think about us, and no wonder that that permeates into how we run our businesses. So what can we do about it, and how can we go about it with less care about what other people think and not worrying about the judgment of others? Well, number one, if it's something, when it comes to judgment from others, if it's something like someone commenting on a post or attacking you or expressing their judgment to you in some way and you feel judged, one way to go about it is to come from a place of empathy and understanding. And I know that can be really hard and it's easier said than done, but really putting yourself in their shoes and trying to figure out, why might they have that judgment? What experiences might they have had in their life to have led them to hold this belief that leads to that judgment? Because if someone's lashing out, they usually have some sort of pain. You know the expression, hurt people? Well, that is really true. So being empathetic and understanding towards someone and the harmful experiences that they may have had to cause them to act that way, it can really calm them down and even disarm them, and usually people aren't expecting that. Usually if they're coming in lashing out, they're expecting a fight. And so to return kindness and understanding, it doesn't mean that you have to agree with them or change anything that you're doing, But to offer that place of understanding and that empathy can really shut down that conversation before it even turns into a debate. Number 2, if you feel like you're being judged by other people, remember that being judged doesn't mean that you have to change anything about yourself or what you're doing. So for example, let's say someone says that you're too expensive. Does that mean that you should go and review all of your prices or charge a lower price or negotiate a lower price? No. It only means that you're too expensive for their budget in their situation, and that is an expensive price for them based on their set of beliefs and values and their experiences and what we call their money mindset. So everyone has a different money mindset and different beliefs and feelings around money, and a totally different scale on what they consider to be cheap or expensive. And whatever they think that is, whatever that scale is for them, or whatever that number is for them that is expensive, has nothing to do with you and what actually is expensive or not, or what your worth is in what you're offering and what the value is of what you do. It has everything to do with them. So you don't need to change something just because someone else judges it. My next point is that if you're being judged, prioritize your inner peace. Is it worth giving up your inner peace just to feel like you are right or just to win an argument? Because usually just trying to prove that you are right, if that's going to come from a place of conflict and stress, it is just not worth it. And this is especially true when it comes to something like arguing with strangers on the internet and people that you don't even know and that you're never even going to talk to again. It is just not worth sacrificing your inner peace to get into an argument and try and prove yourself right with them. It's really all about everyone just caring that they are right. And sometimes being right isn't worth it. You can just let it go and let people believe what they want to believe. So prioritizing your inner peace. And if you zoom out and look at the really big picture, like zoom right out, picture that you can see Earth as a little dot from outer space. Ask yourself if it's going to matter in the big scheme of things. Is it going to matter if I take on this person's judgment and get all upset and get into an argument and defend myself? Is it even going to matter if I win and prove myself right to this person in the big scheme of things, if it's taking away from my inner peace and happiness and productivity and like focus that I could be putting into other things, energy that I could be putting into other things? Sometimes people get really caught up in debating and it takes up so much of their time and energy, and it is just not worth it when that could be put into things that actually help and serve you. And my last point when it comes to judgment is to remember that we are all judgy creatures. So it's a bit of a paradox, but if someone's judging you and you are upset about them judging you, that means you are in turn judging them. You are judging them for judging you, and around we go. And that's completely normal and natural because as humans, we all judge. And the human trait of judgment is actually a survival trait that is built into us so that we can survive. If you don't have any judgment, then you wouldn't be able to weigh up if something is going to harm you or not. So if you were a caveman and you were looking at a woolly mammoth, you can quickly make a judgment in a split second that this animal is bigger than you and can hurt you, and you're going to need to be careful about how you approach it, if you approach it at all. And we make those judgments in milliseconds. So we cannot stop judging. We can't stop ourselves from actually judging. We can only control what we do with that judgment and the actions that we take based on that judgment or not. And we can also control whether maybe we make a split-second judgment, but we can also then look at it analytically and say, is this judgment correct? Is it the right way to go to base my feelings and my actions off this initial judgment, or does it deserve a little bit more thought and another look? And could I be wrong? It's always good to be open to the fact that you might be wrong. So we're all judgy creatures. we are all judging everyone else. It's completely normal, and it's only our actions that we can control that come from that. Ask yourself, am I judging this person? And if so, can I circle back to that first point of empathy? Now, all of these tips are really applying to someone judging you harshly. Often it's to do with putting ourselves out there on the internet, making content, things like that. It may be a little different if you've got a judgment from someone that means a lot to you and you really value their opinion. So we can also have a look at, do I value this person's opinion enough to take their judgment on board? And a lot of the time, no, but sometimes yes. And sometimes we can take it into account, maybe give it some thought, and then still say, no, actually, I'm still going to do what I had intended to do. And at the end of the day, everyone is judging you because that's what humans do. You're going to be judged no matter what you do, so you may as well do what you want. So understanding both the judgment of others and the judgments that we ourselves put into the world can be what helps us to be truly free to express ourselves and run a business that is true to ourselves and our values and who we want to be and what we want to put out there into the world. Now, if you feel like you want to get better at silencing your inner critic, because let's face it, we usually judge ourselves worse than anyone else will. If you want to get better at that and really develop your mindset to the type of person that can put themselves out there, take action, be more productive, do what they said they're going to do, and make the kind of money that you want to make, then make sure you get on the wait list for my new program starting in January. It's called Business Class Mind, and it's going to be all about that inner transformation to get those outward results. I'll put a link to the waitlist in the comments, and it'll have all the information on there. Plus, there are bonuses for people that join the waitlist right now as well. If you've enjoyed this today, please share this as well. Hi, Carol. Thanks for joining. Please share this with people that you know that it could help, especially anyone that you know that might be worried about what others think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should we worry about what others think about us? Has judgment held you back? What are you going to do about it, or what have you done about it? And I will see you in the next video, and please have a fantastic week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.